The dawn arrived, not with the gentle glow of morning, but with a gray, anemic light that did little to soothe the brothers' nerves. The silence was back, but now it was a hollow, mocking quiet. Caleb, his face gaunt with exhaustion, stumbled onto the porch, the rifle held loose in one hand, the other clenching and unclenching. James watched him from the doorway, his own body rigid with a fear that had settled deep into his bones. The air was a clean, sharp cold, but the scent of blood still lingered, a phantom perfume on the wind. Caleb's eyes were fixed on the front door, specifically on the spot where the sound had come from. The porch was a mess, with scattered leaves, old splinters of wood from their hasty barricade, and a single, chillingly clean patch on the floorboards where the dripping meat had been left. There was nothing there now. Whatever message had been delivered had already been retrieved. "It's gone," Caleb stated, his voice flat. James stepped out, peering over his brother's shoulder. The patch of dark, wet wood was an unspoken testament to the horror of the night before. "What was it?" he whispered. "I don't know. Didn't look. Didn't want to, but it was big. The sound, it was a thick, wet slap when it hit the wood." Caleb's face was a mask of cold fury. "He's fucking with us, playing games." "Who?" James asked, his voice barely audible.
Night descends in velvet shroud. No sound dares to cry out loud, but a pulse beats in the deep. Secrets that the darkness keeps. Oh, the crimson pulse, it starts to race in this haunted, shadowed space. A chilling thrill, a dark delight, lost within the endless night. Through the mist, an eerie gleam. Is this real or just a dream? Unseen hands upon my soul, losing all of my control. Oh, the crimson pulse, it starts to race in this haunted, shadowed space. A chilling thrill, a dark delight, lost within the endless night. This haunting cold, it pulls me in, where shadows dance and fears begin. A primal scream, a silent plea. This twisted thrill sets my spirit free.
Caleb shook his head, a gesture of helplessness. "I don't know. Some local psycho. Some hermit with a bad past. This place has always attracted the goddamn freaks." He took a deep, shuddering breath, the bravado of the night before gone, replaced by a grim resignation. "We're not staying here. We're leaving. Now. We'll take the truck, and if it runs, great. If not, we start walking. I'm not spending another minute in this fucking house." James felt a surge of relief so profound it made him dizzy. Escape. The word was a siren song, a promise of a future where he wasn't a caged animal. But as Caleb turned to go to the truck, a new sound cut through the morning silence. A low, rhythmic hum. "What's that?" James asked. Caleb froze, his head cocked to the side, listening. His eyes widened, a dawning horror spreading across his face. He turned back towards the house, his gaze fixed on a window on the ground floor. A single, dark rectangle of glass, that overlooked the back of the property. The humming sound was coming from inside the house. "That's the generator," Caleb said, his voice a low, strangled whisper. "The one we keep in the basement. It's running." James's blood ran cold. They hadn't turned it on. They hadn't even opened the basement door. He thought of the rusted, corroded handle on the trap door in the kitchen floor, a feature of the house he had dismissed as just another decaying relic. But the sound was unmistakable, a steady thrumming beneath their feet. "How?" "James." The trap door was a heavy wooden square set into the floor near the pantry. A thick, rusty padlock, one their father had installed years ago, was still clamped through the bolt. It was untouched. "What the hell?" James whispered, staring at the intact lock. "It's impossible." Caleb didn't answer. He was on his knees, his ear pressed against the cold wood. He then rose, a sick look of comprehension on his face. "It's not just the generator," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Listen." James knelt, pressing his ear to the wood. Beneath the steady hum of the generator, he could hear other sounds, a faint but unmistakable clicking and whirring, like old machinery. "What is that?" James asked, a new kind of terror prickling at his skin. This wasn't a savage in the woods. This was something else, something planned. Caleb stood up and went to the pantry. He pushed aside a few boxes of moldy canned goods and pulled on a false back panel. It came away with a groan, revealing a small, dark crawl space. The space wasn't a passageway to the basement. It was a tight, narrow cavity that led to another wall. In the wall, a small square panel was set in place. It had a keyhole, but no lock. Caleb's hands were shaking as he fumbled with the panel. It came loose with a faint pop, revealing a small, dark space within. Inside, there was an old switchboard, a mess of wires and fuses, and a single tarnished key hanging from a hook. It was a secret they had never known about. Caleb pointed to a series of switches. "This one's for the generator. He had it set up to run the whole property. This one's the well pump. And this one's for the clock, the one upstairs." James's eyes shot to the staircase, a chilling realization dawning on him. The old grandfather clock, the one that was always silent, its pendulum frozen. The one that had been a silent, unmoving sentinel over their childhood. "It wasn't just a clock, was it?" James said, the words catching in his throat. Caleb shook his head, his face pale. "No, I think this whole place is a goddamn ghost in the machine. A network of something." He turned a dial on the switchboard, and with a soft, mechanical whir, the silent grandfather clock upstairs came to life. They heard it faintly, the slow, rhythmic tick-tock, a sound that now felt less like a timepiece and more like a countdown. Caleb looked at James, his eyes wide and filled with a horrifying understanding. "It's not some psycho in the woods, not a drifter. He's here. He's been here the whole time. He's been watching us. And now, he's toying with us." He gestured wildly to the running generator, the humming sound that seemed to mock them from below. "He turned this on. He knows we're here. He knows we're trapped." A new, more terrible dread washed over James. He had been so focused on the outside, on the shadows in the trees, on the killer lurking in the woods. But the truth was far worse. The killer was inside,